All right, so by popular demand, I wanted to throw together a really quick guide of what build I've put together so far. The thing to keep in mind for the players that are in NA and EU, anyone that falls into that, is we don't have elixirs. In Korea, they have elixirs. They've got other things. They can alter their builds and their build paths. And so this is what I feel is correct in NA and EU for the Pistoleer. So at its core and foundation, your Pistoleer should be pushing as much spec as humanly possible. But then in the background, you are trying to get to about 90% or more crit. And the reason you're doing that is because your handgun skills crit damage is so enhanced by your spec that you do 0 damage if you're not critting. So whatever guides or whatever things that you see, if it doesn't say that you should get 90% or more crit, they are 100% wrong. The way that you do that is you get the hallucination set, which gives you at level 3 20% crit rate on the 4 set bonus and another 8 on the 6 set. And the 8% comes in after reality activates, which just takes a little bit of time while you're in combat. The next things that give you crit are adrenaline, which gives you 15% once you're at 6 stacks, and then precise dagger, which gives you another 20%. Last but not least is your grenade that you're using, which gives you your synergy, and that's 10%. So when you've got all that, you should be in the 90% crit rate. So there's 2 new skills that you're adding to your bar. If you followed my previous quick meta guide, you're substituting dexterous shot and plasma bullet for Deathfire and Desperado. The rest is going to stay the same. We're just taking points from enforced execution and putting them in these 2 abilities. All right, so for Desperado, you're going to use a conviction rune. You're going to put as many points as you can into it. And you're going to do bullet time, armor piercing, and style change. And then for Deathfire, you're going to put your best Gale Wind into it. You have the option to choose between Tenacity and Infiltrate. I think Tenacity is by default the best thing that you can do because you used to have Tenacity and Enforced Execution and you're losing that option. And you can use this to save yourself. So if you're in Brielle Gate 6 and there's the yellow circles that are coming at you and it's going to knock you off the platform, you just start casting this ability and you won't get knocked off. So Tenacity is very, very important when doing in-game content, and you're losing it out of Enforced Execution, so you want to gain it back in Deathfire. So most of the time you're going to use that. Otherwise you can use Infiltrate, which lets you dash forward, which just gives you more mobility. So you can do either one. And then next is ATO2 Grenade. It's exactly the same. You're using Bleed Rune on that, your crit synergies on it, and then damage. Equilibrium is slightly different. You're still doing Judgment on it. So your combo is Desperado Equilibrium for Conviction Judgment. And you're doing high speed decimation shot, and now we're doing vital point shot. And the reason we're doing that is they added this crit hit on foes ignores 50% of defense. That makes this hit a lot harder than when we were using burn effect. Burn effect was cool though because it did put a dot on everything, but this does a lot more burst damage, so this is great. And then we're doing quick shot. Quick shot is exactly the same, except we're adding quick recharge onto that. So you're tapping it twice and you're getting 2 chances to proc this. Attack speed, initiate shot, final light, which is what we were doing before. Cruel Tracker, you're adding quick recharge. Again, you have 2 casts on that, so you get 2 chances. Swift Finger, rapid fire, and quick draw for that. And then Meteor Stream, you're doing your 2nd highest Gale Wind. You should be able to get another legendary Gale Wind from the new Guardian, so you can have that there instead. And then weak point, piercing, and meteor fall. For whatever reason, some people in Korea are using bombardment support. It does not do more damage. I've tested it. I don't know why they're using it. Maybe there's a thing in Korea that makes it do more damage. I don't know, but this does not do more damage than this. This does like 9 million DPS and this does 6 million DPS. So yeah, Maybe it's just the speed thing, but regardless, it's slow and you don't want to use it. And the last thing is Enforced Execution. You don't put any points in that so that you can max out all your damage abilities. And this is your flex rune, so you can put Rage in it, or in this case, Purify, since I'm doing a con, and you don't put anything in it. Deathfire is going to have both cooldown and damage. Meteor Stream, cooldown and damage. The Grenade is only cooldown reduction. Equilibrium is only damage. Cruel Tracker, only damage. Quick Shot is damage and cooldown reduction. And then Desperado is cooldown and damage. And then your engravings are Grudge, Pistoleer, Curstel, Adrenaline, and Precise Dagger. This is core. It does not change. You don't need to change it. It's great. Gonna hold up because you need 90% crit until they give us elixirs. So whenever they give us elixirs, this can change, but until then it doesn't change. The level 1 can be Ether Predator, which I would recommend because it gives you defense stacks as well as damage at level 1. If you get a 9/7 stone, highly recommend you go Propulsion instead. So you would go level 2 Propulsion because it does more damage than Ether Predator level 2. As for the rotation, it's a little tricky and I still don't have it fully down, but the rotation is that you're going to come in with your synergy. You're going to space bar before your combos because your space bar now gives you attack and move speed plus 8% and cooldown reduction minus 5%. So it's very important that before you do your abilities that you have an active space bar used. And so you want to practice getting that worked into your rotation. Best way that I can think of it is you do 2 abilities and then you spacebar. 2 or 3 abilities, spacebar. 2 or 3 abilities, spacebar. And I'm still not a pro at this yet, but I'll still show you what that can look like. We're gonna do Grenade, Desperado to proc Conviction, Judgment with Equilibrium. So Grenade, spacebar, Desperado, Equilibrium, spacebar, Meteor Stream, Quick Shot, spacebar, Cruel Tracker, Deathfire. And you can maybe add a Desperado in there because you have 2 charges. So that's pretty much what it looks like. It's essentially, so it's basically you're comboing 2 abilities with each spacebar, and you're throwing a grenade in between to make sure your synergy's up. So it's Grenade, spacebar, Desperado, Equilibrium, and then spacebar, Meteor Stream, Quick Shot, and then spacebar, Cruel Tracker, Deathfire. And you just keep going. Alright, so let's talk about Chaos Dungeon build. So let's talk about Chaos Dungeon build differences. In my previous guide, I went through Chaos Dungeon build, but I'll go through everything here. So for Chaos Dungeon build, Desperado is actually now one of your main AoE abilities, and it's completely ridiculous. You're doing Cascade, which increases the range, Massacre, and Style Change. And you're putting Rage in that. Spiral Tracker is going to have Conviction in it with your crit, synergy on it, Focus Shot, and Heavy Duty. You could also do Quick Pace if you want to move max speed in the first 2 levels, but it's not really necessary. Grenade, Wide Explosion, Enhanced, Firework with Bleed. Equilibrium, which is your other main AoE ability that you have. High Speed, Enemy Raid, which makes it go 360. And Vital Point Shot. You're putting Judgment on that, so you can do Spiral Tracker, Equilibrium. Quick Shot is your Quick Shot you use to one-shot the elites and fight the bosses if you get a boss room. So Swift Fingers, Initiate Shot, Final Light, put Gale Wind in that. Deathfire is another good AoE ability that you have. You can put Infiltrate Decimation, so you jump into things with it. Chain Throw, Keen Shot. You can also do Tenacity if you want to avoid getting pushed by the one guys in the second phase. Meteor stream, so weak point detection, wide explosion, and meteor fall. Your last ability, you can make it somersault shot with 4 points in it, and then put ignore collision, so you can jump over elites and different things with it, and then add quick recharge to it. You could also do rage, whatever you want. But yeah, so that's the final Chaos Dungeon build, and then you're gonna want to swap out Preemptive Strike for Grudge. So ideally for your build, to make things really easy, you just do Blast Engraving Grudge, and then you're just subbing out Preemptive Strike for Grudge, because Grudge is worthless in Chaos Dungeon. And then full Betrayal set, and yeah.